Carashore 58 North Nepali. I just had a question about some chatter on Facebook about a proposed plan going in between North Nepali and Rising Road. I just want to clarify with the board kind of where that stands, any knowledge anybody has of what that proposed plan is. I guess some residents on Rising received some letters, so.
I think it was on North Nepali received some letters.
Okay.
I actually saw it for the first time on social media. So I don't know, Jack, is that something that's going before the planning right now or not? Yeah, so at this point, I would say if they received any sort of notification, it would have been from somebody who's interested in developing the property and is planning to start the process of running through planning commission and come to the board of supervisors, but there is no current active plan for a neighborhood that has come before us on.
That's just
Miranda Homes has purchased the property,
Okay.
But they have not started the process through the township.
but they bought the property, they are going to develop it.
What's that plot? How many acres is that plot? Just
146 acres.
146. So I'm just curious, like, what notification would they be sending out before it's even gone through planning?
Probably notification, so before a zoning hearing or before a public planning commission meeting, they have to notify residents within so many feet of the property.
No, not necessarily. If it's a PR, if they're going to be requesting a PRD
I
or change the zoning, they would have to. But if it's just a straight up development on conforming zoning, they just start with the planning commission.
But it's not there, that's what I'm saying. I don't know, we haven't seen it. I sent somebody a message who posted that on social media. She has yet to provide me with the notification.
Yeah, I'd love to see what it's about. I mean, because if it's not on, sorry, I'm not supposed to.
You can look at it.
If it's not on the planning commission agenda yet, and they're telling people there's a meeting, I mean, I'm just confused as to what is the information.
I can't say for sure whether or not it is on planning commission. Liz isn't here, our director of zoning. We can find out for you and get back to you, but it's not something that's come before our board.
Yeah, because I mean, I just think there's a lot of misinformation, people getting upset about things that aren't even like written in stone.
It's called the
But the main entrance is going to come off Rising Road. They bought the 146 acres and they bought all the greenhouses. The lady that owns the greenhouses is staying there. Her house is staying. But people saying about the entrance on the pole, it's not. It's going to come right off Rising Road.
I know which one, yeah, it's coming off Horizon, it's,
Has it gone to planning?
no.
Right where the entrance is to go down to the greenhouses, they've met with PennDOT and everything already.
It's in the very beginning stages at this point. So the township has really no information at this point.
Okay.
Miranda normally does go for PRDs, so there will be public notice and actually public hearing on it initially, before it even goes to the planning commission for regular subdivision
Right.
approvals. Like I said, if they don't go for a PRD,
Tom,
it's just
speak
a
into your
straight,
microphone.
it's just a straight application then if they're going to just follow the current zoning. Someday there'll be application from the planning commission. That's all that happens on conventional.
So are you saying if it is a PRD, they have to go to the zoning board first?
No, I said
No.
there would be a public hearing,
Public
notification, yes,
Okay.
even before they present any plan to the planning commission for the subdivision itself.
Okay.
Another thing, last time I checked, they were figuring on 325 houses.
But again, that's like private information Supervisor Flair has gotten. That is not information that has been in any way presented to the township.
Okay, thanks for that. I have one other question about that French club or whatever that you guys talked about. Is that in a zoning area that would be permitted of townhomes? I guess, I mean, since the school over there is apartments or whatever. I'm just curious what the zoning is.
It is zoned for multi-tenant buildings. It's a zone R2, which is a permitted use.
And I guess just the other thing about that is if there's delays, is there any concern about like that not being a structurally sound building or damage or like the original reasons why you were going to have it demolished sooner rather than later? Is there any concerns about?
Not if they provide it, yeah. Yeah, I mean, not if they provided something for a structural engineer, but that would be, I don't know if you heard him say they were willing to put money in escrow, whatever the cost would have been for us to demolish it, money in escrow, so that if they can't move forward or something happens, that we have the money to move forward with the original plan anyways.
Okay. Yeah, all right, thanks.
Thank you.
Well, very last thing, sorry, I didn't know if there was any update. I know we talked, I think Frank mentioned it a few meetings ago about the approval for the COVID relief funding. I just was curious if we knew what we were going to use that funding for, or when we
We
can
haven't
actually.
even forgotten. So I got notification, which I sent to Dawn, from the state that we did not receive funding in the first round of funding, which went out I want to say it was last Thursday, that we are in the second round.
Okay.
So we don't even know when that second round is going to come, when it's going to be released. They haven't even released a date, so at this point, we have no
Okay, I was just curious.
plan.
That's it, thanks.
Thanks. Any other comments or questions?
Darlene Barney. This is just to reiterate on these here 229 single-family resident homes that is supposed to be located on a parcel of land on Rising Road. Parcel ID number, it's all in here. The new development will contain 225 single-family resident lots. I'm surprised the board doesn't know anything about this.
I mean, we can't go out, like Ron knew, but like we can't go out and hunt everybody down. Like there's a requirement if they want to go through a PRD to come and present the information to the board, or to the township. They have not done so. So what notification they sent out to the residents essentially means nothing at this point, because nothing has been township approved, whether planning commission or board of supervisors.
Okay, I'm just reiterating here that as a requirement of the ordinance 5/2016 of the Cecil Township zoning ordinance, we are notifying that the new residential development will be constructed on a parcel of land located along Rising Road.
That's what I was talking about notification, but there's no approval. So they can say whatever, I don't say
Who's it written to?
and by, but who wrote it? Who wrote the letter? Does it say?
It's from an engineering firm.
You know, we have nothing but
I
our
don't even know who notified residents.
Yeah, they don't have any obligation to notify them, but there also is nothing here. So they can say, I don't say they can say whatever they want, but it's not factually accurate.
An engineering firm.
Then I would tell that resident to reach out to that engineer and ask to provide the approval of the township, because it didn't happen.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm just bringing it up, being that she
Yeah.
brought it up. I'm bringing it up because when I got it. Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you. Anyone else? Go ahead.
Good evening, Michael Matteo, property owner of 315 and 313 Valley Road, which is situated corner of 980 Valley Road, adjacent to the Turtle Twist custard shop there. And those of you who are familiar with that area, there's a creek that runs in front of my property. And when we have heavy rains like we did the last couple of weeks, our property gets flooded. It didn't used to get flooded. I'm a new owner since my parents had passed. So it didn't used to get flooded because of, there wasn't all those developments up Burnside. So that creek runs the length of Burnside Road. And since all of these developments have been placed up there, we get a lot of watershed that collects into that relatively small stream. It's all free flow from our property upstream until you get to Yost Trucking, and that's the bottleneck of that stream. It becomes piped the length of Yost property. And I'm not here to implicate or to blame Yost, because for 40, 50 years since that stream has been piped, it has run free without any flooding on our properties. But since those developments have come in, that creek usually spills over and floods our basement area. The berm of the road is higher than our property now. The road continues to be built up. So I'm continuously cleaning up mud and creek debris that everybody throws in upstream from it. So I'm just wondering from a township perspective, what we might be able to do to manage the water that comes into that stream, or to provide some relief to myself as a property owner.
So is this the first time you brought this information to the township?
It is.
Okay.
Yes.
So since that, I actually have had multiple conversations with our regular township engineer, Dan Zeisroth, and there was a significant number of residents who were affected by flooding because of that, what he called a 500-year storm. I know. So.
It happens more frequently than every 500.
I agree. What I would ask is that you give your information to Joe Seitz, who's sitting right here, and then our township engineer will reach out to you. He will come to your property, he will look at things, make an assessment, let us know, is it something that is, is it being caused by something that we did or have done in the past, or is this a private property issue? And then we can kind of go from there. We've had everybody do that for the past couple weeks. It's worked well. We've got them the answers they're looking for. It may not be the answer that you want, but it's the answer that it is the answer. And so that's kind of where we go from there. So if you just want to provide your name, address, and contact information to Joe, you'll hear back from Dan I would say within 24 to 48 hours.
Perfect. And related to that is the open great bridge that crosses, I guess that's Little Chartiers Creek there. There's been survey stakes, there's been a lot of activity. I've not received any notification personally about the plans to that bridge, but there are survey stakes that are on like our property, so I don't have any idea what's going on.
That's a Washington County bridge. Contact the bridge department at the county. I think
So
there's
we
been
unfortunately, I don't know what they're doing there.